WGEM Sports.
The soccer season officially kicked off for the Canton Lady Tigers tonight, and they face a familiar foe in Winfield. Picking things up in the first half, the Warriors knocking on the door, but Madeline Nelson comes up with the big-time stop. Winfield would keep on applying the pressure up top, again taking their shot, but Nelson with yet another save to keep this one scoreless. When you keep trying, though, they'll eventually find the back of the net, and that's exactly what Winfield does, and they would take the early lead. Shortly after that, the Warriors again on the move from 25 yards out. They clear the shot, and when it's all said and done, Canton would fall 5-0 with the game being called 10 minutes early due to the weather. It was a windy, blistery day at the ball fields across the Tri-States. We start off tonight right here in town. That's where Quincy High welcomed in West Hancock at Wavering Park. At the top of the first inning, Blue Devils' Carly Gilker sets the tone as she blows this pitch by the batter for the punch-out. Titans would get it going a bit later. Lakin Larson sends a blooper into the wind in left field. She would make her way to first on the single. Later that inning, Jordan Clymer laying down the bunt and outruns the throw to first and bringing in a run in the process. West Hancock wasn't done either. Abby Stanley connects with this pitch, sends it to shallow right field. Clymer would race around the bases and make her way home to help extend their lead. Quincy's turn to answer a pass ball right there allows them to get on the scoreboard, and that would turn the tide for the Blue Devils as they would pick up the hard-fought win over West Hancock 6-5. Another high school baseball scores from across the area. Liberty gets by West Central 12-4. Illini West stays hot 14-0 over BPC, and Unity gets the win over Macomb 5-3. Moving to college softball, John Wood playing host to Carl Sandburg this afternoon. Lady Blazers with a strong defensive start. Reese McCormick quick to get this one to first base, and that would mark the third out to retire the side. More from that, good hit by the Chargers, but Liberty alum J.C. Blair ready in the outfield as she notches another putout. Time for some offense. Hannibal alum Sydney Phillips sends this one deep, and that'll make room for Abigail Harshberger to race around home and close out the deficit for John Wood. More offense, this time Lakin Adich at bat earns the RBI as Phillips gets the chance to return the favor and speed on home. Lady Blazers would hang tough, but ultimately they drop this one 3-5 to Carl Sandburg. In college baseball action, Western Illinois started their conference play today against Southern Indiana. Dominant win 15-5. They are now 1-0 in the OVC. We have more sports coverage on the way. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.